Hey, what's good, everybody? It's BDF44 coming to you today to ask a question. Is James Harden getting the respect that he deserves? Um, so I was just looking at the rankings. I think he was fifth on there or something like that. But the reality is, for me, is I'm looking at Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard had an amazing playoff and season for himself, coming back from his long tenured injury, and he took the Toronto Raptors to a championship. So you got to give him his credit. Does he belong in number two? Maybe. I'm not really here to dispute that. I saw LeBron James at three. As a Laker fan, I'm cool with that. Overall, year 17, coming off injury year, I don't see why he would be in the 1 or 2 spot this year. Same thing with KD. With the injury, he's not even playing this season, so I wouldn't expect him to be ranked too high on most people's list in terms of this season. Although we know where he stands historically and with his generation. Now, James Harden, for me, as I look back on his game, and I've mentioned this, with the Thunder, he was more of a backup scorer facilitator as a youngster. He was a facilitator more than anything. He would come in and kind of bring parity and make sure that KD and Westbrook got the ball in their spots, and made sure that they got the ball distributed the way it needed to be distributed. And also was able to score quite a bit from the bench and everything, but that was his role. Once he got to the Rockets, obviously they got that Mike D'Antoni offense going, and he's been rocking ever since with some of the best offensive numbers we've ever seen. And the reason why I would say they're some of the best we've ever seen is because we've seen people score quite a bit. We've seen Kobe score 50 points 16, 17 games in a row, something crazy. We've seen people like T-Mac and KD and Michael just run up scoring, Kareem. We've seen some great scorers, but rarely, very rarely, and I have to mention LeBron James too, because obviously he's known for what I'm about to say, but rarely do we see a guy put up big numbers in scoring column and put up huge numbers in the assist column and shoot very high percentages from all 3 spots. I mean, we got to give credit to Steph Curry in that regard too, but for me, looking at James Harden, I don't know that anyone that I've mentioned honestly can do exactly what James Harden does. Now, I want to preface that by saying, again, he's in the Mike D'Antoni offense, and I think a lot of people would have thrived in the Mike D'Antoni offense to their highest peak, simply because you're encouraged to shoot a lot, and the pace is very, very fast, and defense is an afterthought, so you can kind of save your energy on that side of the ball. So a guy like Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, all those people, Kobe Bryant, they would have loved to be in a Mike D'Antoni offense if they had the right pieces around them. I say if they had the right pieces around them because obviously Kobe was coached by him, but it just wasn't the right team for him to be on. I think he and Mike D'Antoni would have been fine. I think the rest of the roster was not for Mike D'Antoni. Kobe Bryant was not the piece that didn't fit. But anyway, so just looking at James Harden, he's in that offense, and knowing that he's in that offense, he's able to thrive like crazy, dude. He's putting up 50 and 15 and putting up crazy 90% from the line consistently, shooting his step backs and all these different plays. I know it's high usage. It's a lot of usage. It's a lot of ISO. It's almost exclusively ISO. So a lot of people will knock him off for just some of those things being catered to his offensive numbers increasing. But if you just take away all that you want to say about the referees, because a lot of times he draws fouls so well, just like a guy like Lou Williams, he knows how to make the whistle blow, basically. He knows how to get the calls that need to be called. And, a lot of people dock him for that because he gets to the line more than anyone else. It's not pleasing to the eye, if you ask me, but I do appreciate the fact that it's a skill, and it requires a great deal of intellect to be able to pull it off. So I say that he's just learned how to outsmart a lot of people on the floor more than anything, and I think the fact that he's such a heavy guy up top, he has a heavy upper body for the most part and a very strong base, so he's able to go in and yam it on people. He can dunk on your head, and he comes at you with an extreme amount of force. He's much stronger than people give him credit for. So couple that with his amazing ball handling gifts, God-given ability gifts to just do his step backs and all those Euro step moves that he's mastered. And to a degree, I could say he's helped change the game, because I don't think they call travel on as much as they used to, and they certainly have allowed him to use that step back, which in the NBA I was raised on is definitely a travel. So you got to give him his credit for what he's been able to accomplish out there, and I think at this point in time we got to start mentioning his name amongst the greatest offensive players to ever play the game. He's going to have to win. You know, he has not won a championship at all yet. I don't know if I can say yet because I don't know if I believe he will get one with the Rockets in his prime. I don't know if this team is going to be able to get over the hump. And I've mentioned many times about that. You can go back and look at some of my other videos about how I feel about his current roster and his current situation. But just him as a player, yeah, the dude offensively is out of this world. Defensively, he's improved a great deal. Now, he did have some issues on the defensive end and some things that I noticed that seemed to be more mental than anything else in terms of his defensive mindset. But he's improved such a great deal over the last 3 years that it really hasn't been much of a problem. You know, I've seen instances, and we all have, where he's really done great jobs on people. He's had sequences where he's locked people down. So his defense is ever improving, and I don't know that he'll ever become a really good defender, but you know, he'll be able to stay in front of his guys, and as he continues to move forward, his best defense is his offense anyway. And he's dropping 50 on the other guy no matter what the guy's putting up. So I think that's the beauty of his game, and also you can count the defense away from the fact that he gets to the line so much. So he's probably putting his guy in foul trouble. So for what he doesn't give you defensively, he's able to hand you in that way. So yeah, man, got a lot of respect for his game. Don't really like watching it, to be honest, as I've said. I think the referees and the officials do need to do a better job of kind of keeping an eye on him, because he does take advantage. It's obvious to me. I don't know if other people see it that way, but he does take advantage quite a bit. And you know, kudos to him for doing it. Kudos for being smart enough and savvy enough to pull it off. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say. Just put a little respect on James Harden's name. I know he's an easy person to overlook a lot of times because he never seems to be the best player in the league. He's always amongst the best, not quite there. But in my eyes, I don't see any of them doing what he's doing offensively, to be completely honest, except for maybe LeBron James. You know, nobody else really does what he does stats-wise. So let's see if he can put together and prove me wrong in terms of what he's able to do this season. I always say that the Rockets aren't what they should be because I never think they have what they need. This year is no exception, but maybe he proves me wrong, so we'll see. But that's pretty much what I want to say. Thanks for everybody for watching, and my name's BDF44. Peace.